5-step process to taking something over. The first thing that they do is they demand access, which sounds totally reasonable, and in a lot of cases it is. You've got your Boy Scouts. Well, what if a girl wants to be a Boy Scout? Let a girl in, right? So you already have to compromise on something extremely fundamental there. Then they demand accommodation. It's not enough that they're in, they have to be treated the way that they want to be. Then they demand a seat at the table. The reason that we've been being treated badly is because we don't have any power. Once they get a seat at the table, they put all their effort into gaining more seats at the table. So they demand to control the table. And then when they control the table, they demand to be able to control the entire institution. Accommodate our ideology, accommodate our politics, make changes for the most cantankerous 1%.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Feel, don't think.
Fear is my ally.
The Force will be with you.
We are encouraged to love. Be mindful of your thoughts.
I will not betray the Republic.
Hey, Your Worship, I'm only trying to help.
Scruffy-looking nerf herder.
I'm not afraid.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
So how do woke institutions become woke? This is how it happens. People, like some of these people in this picture, demand access to an organization. Lucasfilm, the Boy Scouts of America, let a girl be a Boy Scout. Sounds innocuous, fine. Let more people with alternative lifestyles and issues into our film studio. Then they demand, so they get access. Then they demand their issues be accommodated. Their politics, everything. Then they demand a seat at the table. And I'm featuring the High Republic authors here because these are the wokest of the woke. Justina Ireland is a racist. Claudia Gray is a sexually confused weirdo. Daniel Jose Older is an anti-white midget. But they all wanted access to Lucasfilm, access to Star Wars, and to be accommodated. Well, they got that. We've got Matt Martin. Another one. Here's Pablo Hidalgo. Then they demand a seat at the table. Then they demand more seats at the table, and then they get control of the organization so they can change the organization from what it was to what they want it to be. And we've seen it in Star Wars. We've seen it at the Walt Disney Company. We've seen it at Marvel. Marvel seems to have gotten a handle on the woke shit. And it looks to me like Bob Iger has curbed the woke shit coming out of Walt Disney Studios and animation. And of course, Deadpool and Wolverine. Still happening with Lucasfilm. Daniel Jose Older with his dyke wedding. Demonic, evil, reprehensible. It's anti-Christ on steroids. It's anti-normal society. Okay, these people want power. It's not even that they care about the franchises. This is really almost an insidious disease that has plagued Hollywood for the last 10 years. I'm going to go out on a limb and say TFA was the first real woke movie, because it was woke. And disrespected everything about Star Wars. Okay? And you're kind of like going, well, what do we do about it? You gotta look at all the institutions that we have. The military's been infiltrated. The government's been infiltrated. Corporations have been infiltrated. Target. They've also learned a lesson. Their point of existence is to earn money. And the businesses that tried it have lost money. They're either backing off of it or cutting it out completely. And it's because these young marketing executives were brainwashed in college to be like this. It's like allowing young pioneers into your arms plant, Okay, it's not what you want. And of course, it infiltrated into the colleges back in the late 80s when I first started going to school. Okay, I saw it in women's studies. And like I said, with the people that were pictured in the video earlier, they're like the Red Guard, communist young pioneers who basically are there strictly to take over an institution. Trust me, Daniel Jose Older, Pablo Hidalgo, and the rest of them don't love Star Wars. Justina Ireland is a monumental racist. Claudia Gray is monumentally sexually confused. Older is a monumental racist, and Pablo is a member of the young pioneers from China. But let's talk about the substance of what they've given Star Wars.
This is Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. I regret to report that both our Jedi Order and the Republic have fallen. With the dark shadow of the Empire rising to take their place. This message is a warning and a reminder for any surviving Jedi. Trust in the Force. Do not return to the temple. That time has passed. And our future is uncertain. We will each be challenged. Our trust, our faith, our friendships. But we must persevere. And in time, a new hope will emerge. May the Force be with you, always.
What happens when you get access, accommodation, and then a seat at the table? You get character constructs, SJW cartoons like Vice Admiral Gender Studies. She's the perfect example of your typical blue-haired or pink-haired cartoon of what Rian Johnson and Pablo Hidalgo and the rest think an SJW female Vadolf Vemler is. Then you've got Rose Tico spewing Maoist young pioneer bullshit. This is what happens when you allow Wokey McWokistan access and then accommodation and seats at the table. They retreat when their stuff is terrible behind black women, the tokens who were thrown up, poor actresses, to basically set the fans up to be called racist, sexist, bigots, and homophobes. Okay, that's what they do. You give these people a seat at the table. This is what they do. They want access, they want accommodation, they want a seat at the table. They get more seats at the table and they take it over. That's what Victoria Alonso tried at Marvel, and she got fired for it. The excuse was she was working on a different company's film. But we all know the truth is what she did, okay? She turned Marvel into a woke Vadoff Demler travesty, an atrocity. Kathleen Kennedy, because she's a flaming, diehard third-wave feminist or second-wave feminist, fighting the patriarchy, which when you see somebody like Rachel Leishman from the Mary Sue screaming about the patriarchy, she's not screaming about anything else but her dad. Daddy didn't pay enough attention. So, we all have to suffer for that? What the fuck? Okay? But this is what happens when you let them have a voice in your organization. The very loud 1% of their group, because most of them just want to be left alone, are going to try to take over your organization. Okay, and that is what has happened with Lucasfilm and to an extent Disney until Iger decided it's killing our bottom line and we can't do this anymore. Disney's always going to accommodate freaks and weirdos, right? But it doesn't have to be front and center anymore. And really, when you look at these people who want access and accommodation, they're not doing it because they've been abused. They haven't. They're doing it to get access to kids, access to power. All right? That's it. That's all it is. All right? And if the reason why they call us racists, sexist, bigots, and homophobes is because they're projecting their hatred of heterosexuality, faith. All right, a homosexual marriage is basically anti-Christian, anti-Christ. It really is. And it's against society as a whole. They're trying to undermine the culture and society. Period. And I'm going to say this. This is a form of genocide. And because look, what is the first thing a racist majority does when they walk into a place? Like what they did to the British did to the Irish when Oliver Cromwell was dictator of England. They would not let the Irish speak Gaelic. Okay? They go after the language. That's part of your culture. That's your identity. Okay? They go after your religion, replacing Catholic churches with meeting rooms. Okay? Taking away the art, the music, the literature, and the liturgy. Okay? When Hitler took over Germany, the first thing they did was boycott Jewish businesses, Daniel Jose Older and Gal Gadot, the issue there. They took over colleges to the point where Jewish professors weren't allowed to teach. They forced Jewish doctors out of practice. And basically they turned the Jews among them into less than animals. And then when World War II started, they started rounding them up in Germany. And once they got the ghettos started, like in Hungary, there was a Theresienstadt ghetto. They started putting Jews into places like that, and then they would ship them east. And as the war progressed, they would just round up Jews as a whole and ship them east. That's genocide. All right. Anytime you erase someone's culture, it gives you the power to do more. Okay? That's a form, cultural genocide is the first step. And that's what the wokey McWokistans want to do with our culture. Okay? They don't want history to be honored. They don't want history to be remembered. They erase white men. And it's like, That's not, that's what the Nazis did. That's what the Chinese did in Tibet. They tried to erase Tibetan culture. So Tibetans would conform to what they wanted or die. Okay? It's so beyond my comprehension that people don't see this. Period. But thank God that it's coming to an end. Okay, but the words are, they want access, they want accommodation, they want a seat at the table, they want more seats at the table, and then they take it over, the institution, whether it be a university, a company, or a film studio. Okay, this is Steph, signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.